Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. We'll be looking at a very fascinating topic today, managing employee value proposition. And our facilitator for tonight is Matthew Edibe. Fortunately, he's not a first timer here. He was so good, we decided to bring him back. And definitely, we are still going to bring him back yet again. Let me just read about him for the purpose and benefit of some of us who may not know Matthew prior to now. All right, Matthew Edibe has over 10 years experience in core human resources as a professional with a strong background in consulting, manufacturing, construction, factory operations and effectiveness, and FCMG business. In addition to this, he has interest in human capital advisory, organizational design, development, business leadership, okay, people management and culture, recruitment, compensation and benefits, learning and development, HR project delivery, and even data analytics. Matthew has successfully built and managed human capital management both in Nigeria, Central Africa, and Middle East. He possesses proven expertise across various HR value chain. Okay. Matthew is a PMP and Prince 2 certified associate. He's also an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management and several other bodies. At this point, I would like to say, in finality, he serves as the national editor of JCI Nigeria. Let's welcome with happiness, joy, excitement, Matthew Edibe. Over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Oluyemi Adeosun. And it's a privilege to be with like minds and HR professionals once again. And today, so I also want to appreciate the previous time where we talked about expatriate management. And a short fall from it, there was privilege for me to also, meet with individuals who are working in the expatriate space, HR professionals, even top CEOs. And, I got them calling me and I needed to support them free of charge. Yes, so it's what we do in our profession, and it's important that we share knowledge when we have the opportunity to do that. So today we're looking at managing employee value propositions. In the world we are today, especially in the country where we are, Nigeria, we are faced with high rate of employee turnover, or you can call it manpower turnover. Now, the question we have asked ourselves in different positions, different conferences, conventions, seminars, webinars, is it that employers are not paying the right remunerations? Is it that there is no enough data when it comes to compensation and benefit survey? Is it that people that are working in different organizations do not understand their potential needs or their values? So each of these questions are answered with different knowledge and different thoughts from our senior and top professionals in the human resources space. But have people actually looked at how well employees' value propositions are actually managed? Because whether you like it or not, I'll tell you that most organizations, especially in the financial industry, they are paying very well. And you find out that some of the employees just leave the organizations and they go to work in different places. They leave the country, they leave Nigeria and go to other countries and do many jobs. Somebody would say, the value of their currency is better than our own currency. Yes. But you also agree with me that for everything that is good, it always has its own bad side of it. And does that also mean that those of us that are in the country are not also enjoying it? We're also enjoying it, but there's just a bit of difference. And this difference sits on information and data that are available to us. Within these few minutes that I've been given, we'll look at what is really happening in our space and also look at some research and findings from individuals, top consulting firms on how this happens to us in our space. So for the purpose of this knowledge, we are going to be looking at what employee value propositions actually means. We'll also consider what are the components that makes it. And of course, we're also going to look at how we can manage it. Because I am aware that there are some senior HR professionals that are on this call. I got some chats in my LinkedIn inbox where two different CEOs told me that they would want to hear more from me, and a senior HR professional also spoke to me that then she will want to also hear from me on this, and we are going to look at it in a practical sense. And I'm going to also be leveraging some of my experience in the past and some information and data that I have. And so we are going to see something here, and I want us to write together, what do we really mean by EVP, employee value propositions? So different school of thoughts and different senior practitioners, literatures have given different meanings to employee value propositions. Now, the truth is that whichever way it comes, it has to align and build a relationship between employer and employee. If there is no relationship between the employer and employee, you are not discussing about employee value propositions. Now, we have somebody say an employee value proposition is part of an employer's branding strategy that represents everything of value that the employer has to offer to its employee. It's such as pay, benefits, career development are common, but employers also highlight offerings that are currently in demand, like technology, remote work, and flexible scheduling. Now, what we must understand is that every organization pays remuneration. They pay salary, they have compensation. But what differentiates company A and company B is how well they have present themselves to the employees or to applicants or to candidates. I'll tell you, for instance, when I wanted to join my current employer, one thing that caught my mind was the future of work. Prior before now, I was the Monday to Friday person. But when my employer was discussing with me, they brought to me remote work and flexible scheduling. Now, this was presented to me at the point of negotiation. It makes it one important thing that I took and I held it to my hands. Are we together? So as an employer or as an employee, as an HR person or a CEO, what is that thing that differentiates your organization with other organizations? Now, most organizations are now going hybrid, while some are doing full remote. And whether you like it or not, these are factors, these are intricacies, these are that people out there want to see. Nobody's going to be of value to them. Now, essentially, your EVP aims to identify and communicate all the unique benefits and experiences that employees can expect from choosing to work for your organization. So there are some things that you will tell me that, okay, Matthew, if you come to work for us, we give upfront. At the beginning of the year, we are going to pay you a lump sum of amount for you to take care of potential needs. Now, this is what some organizations are using currently. And when they tell you this, you're like, wow. So are you saying that at the beginning of the year, you're going to pay me all my total housing for the 12 months? And, these are factors people want to see, people want to hear, people are looking at it. Organizations are using it today. It also communicates why your company is the right place for the employees who thrive there and help you attract the right people and align with your unique offering. In the early 2023 and close of 2022, an organization came up with a different strategy and people were running into that organization. I will not mention the name of the company, but they call themselves the Sabi people. I'm sure some of us would have known the organization. I don't want to mention the name, but they call themselves the Sabi people. One of our top senior HR C-suite professional joined the organization as head HR, and it did a total realignment of people and culture strategy. It did a total restructuring that every individual, both HR, different walks of life, were thinking and looking at how they want to join the Sabi people. Now, it is not because that other organizations are not paying the same remuneration, but there was something that was different. the organization did a rebranding of themselves. They did a rebranding, and this is what people are seeing. Say, if you have a good EVP in your organization, people will see it. The world will see it. People and everybody would want to be reckoned with your strategy. They want to be reckoned with the organization. And so if somebody meets me and say, Matthew, where do you work? I say, I work with the Sabi people. So the Sabi people, oh, are you talking about this? Yes. And this is a strategy they have come up with, and everybody wants to be part of it. Let's go for that. So there are 5 components. A top HR consulting certification institute gave us 5 components that makes up employee value proposition. And no matter what you want to talk about, these 5 components makes it important if we want to talk about employee value proposition. And organizations and top CEOs, and of course, CCs, senior HR professionals, if your employee value proposition is not in these 5 areas, it is impossible for you to build a strong EVP for your organization. And the important is that these are the 3 aftermath of it. You get a talent attractions and talent retention. It brings a good workforce engagement, and it also improves business performance and growth. But we are going to look at them individually and for the proper for the sake of education, and how we can also align it in our respective workplace. The first one is compensation. Now, in the elements of employee value propositions framework, there is one that is very, very important, and that is compensation. If you have a good compensation plan, and that's why whenever I want to join an organization, whenever I join an organization, the first thing I do amongst all my list is to carry out a compensation and benefit survey. It is important that you have a survey, whether you're paying that value, whether you're going to pay it or not. You should have a good survey of compensation and benefits. If you're in the FMCG business, you need the compensation benefit of the entire FMCG business for medium, for large, medium, and small. Now, NAFDAC has said we have large, medium, small, and micro. So you need to have the survey. What are these people paying in their own respective organization? You need to have it. This is what you will share to the management of the organization or to the board, for you to be able to have a valuable EVP, and that will want to also make and support the organization at all times. So looking for that, it says this includes how satisfied employees are with their salaries, as well as additional rewards such as bonuses and aspects including your evaluation system. Fair compensation is one of the 7 HR best practices. If you do not have a fair compensation in your organization, trust me, you may not be able to keep the best of talents. I'll tell you, for instance, I worked in an organization where at the point of negotiation, I thought that I have done the best of negotiation. And by the time I assumed duty, the difference, the role was HR manager position. Now, the difference between myself, the HR manager, and the HR officer, a lady reporting directly to me, was 30,000 naira. We were both on gross. Now, is that a fair compensation? Is that a fair compensation plan? No, it is not. Because as HR manager, I'm coming for the purpose of strategic implementation and aligning it to the broad objective of the business. While my officer is just carrying out a parallel operational system. And so, is it that I did not negotiate well? Yes, I will agree with you. But what was presented to me as the budget was actually not the budget. So you look at it that some of us as HR professionals, we fail in this area in a thinking that we have been able to cut costs for the organization. But guess what? I didn't stay long in that organization, because at the end of the day, I realized that even there are other people, there are HR, there are managers of my own grade. You know, organizations you have, irrespective of the title, there are grades. So people on the same grade were earning far, far higher than me, because I prepared the payroll. So they were earning far, far ahead of me. And by the time I presented the conversation, I was like, oh, we're going to look at it. And within the space of months, when I noticed the organization was not going to do anything, I had to leave. So as senior practitioners, as HR professionals, as CEOs, it is important that you have a fair compensation plan. And this is what would keep your current employees, and this is one thing that would help you in attracting other employees. The next one is the work-life balance. How tough the organization will look like, it depends on the nature of work and nature of businesses. If it's a construction company, if it's a manufacturing company, the company that works in iron and steel, you need to create a work-life balance. Work-life balance encompasses paid time off, holidays, flex time options, retirement plans, and the opportunity to work from home and remotely. It has a tremendous impact on employee well-being. We need to do this. In my organization where I worked today, we are currently practicing the hybrid system where we work 3 days, we work 2 days from home, and we work 3 days from home and 2 days in the office. And there are some persons that work full remote. This is an example of a work-life balance. You need to, especially looking at the position where the country is and the economy is now, as a result of the removal of the first subsidy. There are hikes in transportation, there's hikes in cost of living, and one of our senior practitioner in the human resources and a leader in the CIPM association, and who is also currently the group HR and shared service manager director for Flower Me. He said something when he was talking about the group work-life balance and aligning it to the cost of living for Nigerians. He said something, and he said, I will quote him, he said, it is important that we as C-suite and CEOs, we support employees in this value area. Because if an employee that is earning 200,000 naira today, I bet you as early as February, I bet you to know that his cost of living has increased so high. At the cost of transportation, probably maybe it's 2,000 naira daily, would have increased to 4,200 naira. Yes. And so what that also means is that his total cost of transportation for the month would impact into his net pay for the month every month. So it is important that we, as HR professionals and CEOs, look into the life of these people. One thing that is clear across all generations is the desire for a hybrid way of working. Now let's look at something. EY Work Reimagined 2022 survey found that 80% of all employees wants to work at least 2 to 3 times daily. That is what they said. That's what the survey said, per week. Yet 22% of employers have said that all employees must return to the office 5 days a week. Now the question is, how is this possible? It is not possible. It is not possible. 80% of us want to work from home. In fact, if you give us and for HR, for those that are HR professionals, is there any reason, if we want to look at, is there any reason we need to be in the office as HR professionals? What is that major thing that the employee wants you to do for him that you will not be able to do it when you are working remotely? Is it issue of complaints? They can send you an email and you get these things resolved. If you're working in manufacturing organizations, you can create a balance. These things are possible. I currently work in a consulting organization, and we have profounded this to individuals and organizations that these things are possible. You can allow them work 2 days in the office and maybe 3 days from home. These things are possible. They are very, very possible. But employers on the other side of it will tell you, no, I want to see my employees. They want to see you because they feel that you probably be doing something else. And trust me, this is very possible. I will agree to employers when they say this. Now, another survey says something. McKinsey, which I happen to be a fellow, a large global survey by McKinsey found workplace flexibility is valued highly, but most demographics. Meanwhile, research by JLL found that 38% of employees feel stressed and overwhelmed by heavy workloads. Going for that, 35% expect to be encouraged by their employers to take time off for themselves during the day and cultivate greater work-life balance. So these surveys are what we as HR professionals, we need to present to our CEOs. We need to present to management. We need to present to the board. These are what employees want. This is one thing that makes them value you as an organization. I can only speak about my employer if I feel that my employer is giving me the best of it. If my employer is not giving me the best of it, I will not be able to speak for my employer. And I keep telling every HR professionals, your number one brand ambassador is the employees, not the brand ambassador you pay out there. The brand ambassador will only go out to talk about your product. But guess what? You as the employee, you will be able to tell people about the organization and what happens within the organization. Let's go for that. Another thing is stability. Stability has a major role to play when it comes to employee value proposition. Now let's look at this something in a fundamental sense. Stability in the workplace refers to physical and psychological safety that enables employees to work in a confident, safe, and professional. Do you know that there are some employees or there are some colleagues that are currently using your internet to search for other jobs? Are you aware? Do you know that even while you are greeting and saying hello and preparing payroll, there are people that feel that they are going to be paid better and they are going to feel comfortable working in other organizations? Yes. So, but if you don't give them that sense of stability, they would want to find their way out. For example, for the deskless workers, stability can also mean predictable work schedules and work hour guarantee. If you tell me I am to work between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., let it be that time. If you're going to add additional hour, then you should communicate with me over time. Not that I'll get to work on a Monday morning, and the next thing I am seeing that I'll just get an internal memo or an internal mail stating that, Matthew, you're going to be working extra hour. That is going to affect me psychologically. Another type of stability is it refers to the opportunity available for employees to develop themselves and further in their career path within your organization. This is where your learning and development effort comes into play. In my organization where I work today, I'll keep taking you back to my organization. Today, we have what we call learning and development budgets. So for me, I have a budget for learning and development for 2023. So I can tell to say, okay, I want to use it to attend CIPM conference, annual convention in Abuja. This is what I want to use it to do. Registration, transportation, as well as accommodation. I can use that to be. I am going there to learn. My organization is going to pay for it, all expense paid. So this is what people want to see. We have organizations where you come. There are also in my organizations today, subscriptions are paid for some categories of employees as anyway. But these are factors. These are marketing strategies. These are available strategy that would keep employees to work overtime. In a few months ago, we had somebody who retired after spending good numbers of years. We have people who have spent 20 years. We have people who have spent 11 years. We have people who have spent 15 years. We have people who have spent 10 years in this organization where I work. Now, the question is, why have these people stayed for these numbers of years? They have the best of qualification. Guess what? With the years of experience that they have and the qualification they have, if they go to another organization, they will be absorbed almost immediately. But my organization has placed themselves in a position where if you join, you don't have reasons. You will not want to have reasons to leave. And this is because of the packages that have been made available to you. Moving further, the location. Location is another strategies that you must put into consideration. Location is about much more than the simple location of your office. You could think of it as a location in the broadest sense of the word. Now, let's look at something together. You see, a positive work environment, strong organizational culture, and a level of autonomy is what we talk about location. Nobody's referring to the physical sense of it. You can tell me, Matthew, okay, as an HR consultant, your major role is to provide solutions to organization. Please work from home. You have given me a very good location for me to be able to think outside my environment. Are we together? So these are important factors that most employers don't want to hear it, but it is our position as HR professionals to speak to them on how this can be done. Now, with the growing popularity of hybrid and remote work models, organizations need to rethink the meaning and role of the location component of EVP. So you don't need you don't need everybody coming to work in the office. You don't need it. You don't need everybody coming to work. You don't need everybody. You don't need, if you have 200 employees, you don't need the two of them coming to work in the office. You can have just a few numbers of persons coming to work. And why the rest of them will even work from their houses. And I tell you the truth, it gives them the best of comfort to think, the best of comfort to align strategy, the best of comfort to also get that work-life balance within themselves. And for us as HR professionals, this is where we come in to speak. We need to also, and guess what? You don't come, whenever you're coming to speak to your employer wants to know what will I stand to benefit. And then you cannot let them know the area of cost savings in energy. The cost of PMS now depends on your location. There are some locations you have 500, 580, 560, 600, 620, 678 for PMS. And you also need to know that organizations run PMS. Some organizations run diesel. So this is a cost of energy to them. This is also cost of energy to some appliances within the organization. This is also cost reduction to appliances VNF. It's also going to support you in the cost of internet usage. So these are things that you need to prepare and put further to the management or the board. Depends on your reporting, your functional or administrative reporting line. Now let's go further. Another fundamental is respect. You see, how well do you respect employees in your organization? How well are they respected? We have organizations where team leaders, HODs, managers talk to employees the way they feel like talking. As a matter of fact, even CEOs and managing directors, they just talk to you because they feel that, okay, I'm going to appraise you, or they feel I'm paying your salaries. And so for that reason, they don't talk to employees with some sense and level of respect. The final element in the employee value proposition model is respect. Respect is about positive relationship, is about support, is about team spirit, is about company culture, is about organization's core value and beliefs. These are fundamentals that makes up respect. How do you speak to people? As manager, how do you support your team? As team leaders, how well do you listen to your team members? How often do you meet to hold team bonding? How often do you sit down to hold team strategies? How often do you sit to look about review of strategies and how to move the organization forward, or even the departments forward? McKinsey research found that uncaring and unsparing leaders play a large role in why people left their jobs. 35% cited it as one of their top 3 reasons for leaving. People leave organizations today because of their leaders. We agree. It's all over the world today. HR professionals, thought leaders, senior research professionals within the people and culture space speak totally today that employees are leaving because of their managers and because of their leader. We agree. We know this. But have we taken time to understand what that leader has done, or what do these leaders do that will make employees leave? These are the components that makes it. Some leaders don't give the values. They don't even care if they have people reporting to them. They don't care. They don't want to know. They don't care. Some organizations talk to you like, I'm paying your salary, so whatever, if you want to leave, you leave. Now, I also need to let us know that idea of there are no jobs in Nigeria. I was in a webinar this morning within the hour of 11 to around 3 p.m. today, and there are so many jobs out right now in Nigeria that we don't have people to occupy those positions. Some of us are in HR, some of us were in work and job platforms, and I'm sure you are seeing the way HR professionals drop in vacancies and they need people. You will see HR professionals pleading to say, I need to close this by 2 p.m. I need to close this today, but there are nobody to take the position. Do you know the reason why? Because the manpower and or the workforce population of Nigeria has reduced. So many so many Nigerians have left the country to other parts of the world to seek for greener pasture. So that means that jobs are so much available. Our tech professionals today are on the buy. In fact, so many, I know of a senior professional in the tech industry today who is also a developer. He currently works remotely, but on contract, works with 3 different organizations on contract, and he's doing the job well. So this is another thing that we really need to, as professionals, look into it so that we don't lose the best of our talents. And so let's go further. How can we manage an EVP in an organization? How do we think we can manage it? We need to look at strategy as HR professionals, what we can do, because the truth is we are the one that is the best position to manage it. It is not the CEO, it is not the managing director, it is HR. And also there is also an extended support to team leaders, departmental HODs. But as HR, we are the one to drive it into each of these respective departments. Then the first one is consistent communication. We need to clearly define communication strategy in every organization. I designed a communication strategy for an organization, and anytime I do a follow-up, I see that that strategy is in full implementation and there is no deviation from it. There must be clear and consistent communication about the EVP. It's crucial. Organizations should proactively communicate the value propositions to employees. Now, when we say organization, it is the job of the HR. You need to clearly communicate it to your people, to the entire workforce. You need to let them know. They need to be aware. You need to be aware, ensuring they understand the benefits. They should understand opportunities, and they should also understand the supports that are available to them. In my current organization today, I know what my next level is. If I want to become the head today, or if I want to become the overall head today, I know what to do. I know how to grow rapidly. I know how to grow rapidly within years in promotion because this has been communicated to me. Regularly, we need to share updates, changes, and successes related to the EVP to maintain transparency and engagement. It is our responsibility. We are the one to do it. If we don't do it, nobody will do it. It is HR that will do it. Only HR and nobody. But HR needs to also speak it through to respective departmental heads. And in this communication, you need to develop a good strategy. This strategy is what will help you in fixing this potential alignment. The next one is employee involvement and feedback. Employee involvement and feedback. Involving employees in the development and management of the EVP can enhance its effectiveness. Yes, it can. You need to encourage employees' participation in shaping policies, programs, and initiatives that makes up the value proposition. Actively seek and listen to employees, actively listen to employees' feedback to understand their evolving needs and preferences. We are the one to do this. And how this can be done is by feedback. They need to understand, they need to see what is happening. They need to be sure that they have that value, that support from your own side of it. But if they don't get it, I tell you the truth, and that is one thing that happens in most organizations today. Feedback. That's development again. So involving employees in the development and management of the EVP can enhance its effectiveness. You need to carry them along in every of the process from the beginning to the end. Once you have the idea comes in first. You call everybody, guys, this is what we want to do. You are communicating every step. There is no keeping of any information. You don't need to hold any information. You want to seek advice within them. You need responses, you get responses from them. Get their opinions, let them hear from you. See, one thing one thing that always helps me in my every organization I work is that some information that I would have gone outside to seek from HR, from colleagues, from other organizations. Do you know that sometimes I even get it from the security? When I was working in the automobile industry and we had this manpower turnover, people were just resigning. It was the security that informed me of the automobile industry organization that most of our organizations employees were going to. So I needed to confirm, okay, what is this organization paying that we were not also paying? So we need to carry everybody along. You need to actively seek and listen to employee feedback to understand their evolving needs and preferences. As an HR person, I may choose to say I want to work as a team member. If there are projects, you need to get people involved in each of the projects. In that project, you should also be getting feedback. Feedback should be coming. And you only get this information only if you consider that the employees around you, everybody, irrespective of the cadre, gets the best of communication from you moving forward. Understanding employee needs. Now, when we're growing up from our secondary school to some of us did economics, we're made to understand that there's a difference between needs and wants. So most of us as HR professionals, we are looking at the potential needs, wants of employees. We are just looking at, okay, Matthew is the HR officer and Matthew will want to do this. No, you need to really understand what Matthew needs. My wants are things that I can be able to attend to. My needs are what I may not have the strength to attend to it. Then it comes into the place for you to look. Now, I'm not saying that the organization will be able to meet to it fundamentally. What I am saying is that as an employer or as HR professional, you have a sense of responsibility to support the process of every employee needs. Organizations must have a deep understanding of the employee needs, preferences, and expectation. If salary is to be paid on the 24th, if you're not going to meet salary on the 24th, please communicate to them prior before that date. Let them know that this is the reason why salary is not going to be paid. However, we are looking at paying at so time. Because so many persons have made plans on their salaries. If we are going to go on public holiday, there are some organizations that don't go on public holiday. So in fact, if Minister of Interior, while other people are waiting for Minister for Interior to announce public holiday, there are organizations that don't even need, they don't want to, my company, we're not going. So for those organizations that attend, you need to prepare, you need to, that's once your team are waiting for it, that should be communicated to them importantly. And if they are to go for holidays, if they are to go for breaks, please, by all means, if you need them to do any job, communicate that to them on time so that they don't feel that, oh, my organization or my HR does not want me to rest. This can be achieved through surveys, focus groups, feedback mechanisms, and ongoing communication channels. By understanding what employees value most, organizations can tailor their EVPs to meet those needs. Everybody that is working in an organization because of salary, you know, I'm sure some of us, you have some people in your organization that you usually tell them that it's not, we don't set up the salary they leave it now. You're just coming to work. We have people like that in every organization. There are people that is not salary. Some persons just want to be. In one of my previous organizations, there's this lady, she said, I'm coming to work because I don't want to be bored. She said, I'm coming to work because I don't want to be thinking. I had this young man too that also said, I'm coming to work because I don't want to always be harassed. Because he says the father gives him a whole good amount of allowances that keeps him and also keeps his wife and kids. So there are people in that category. So they have potential needs. They have that needs while they are coming to work. They are not coming to work because you're paying them salary. There are people like that. They are not coming because you're paying them salary. They need that sense of engagement. As a team lead, you have projects that you're leading. How do you communicate with your team? If I'm working in a team, I love to be seen. I want people to see that Machi is working. So when responsibility comes, I love to pick the one that I think is difficult and I know that people want to run away from. And guess what? When I pick it, it's not as if I have the sense and I know how to do it. What I do is I go to meet senior colleagues. Please, how do you think this can be achieved? There are people like that in your organization. Identify them and give them that support. Another thing that is important is that you cannot prepare an EVP without aligning it with the organizational strategy. EVP must be fully aligned with the organization's strategy. You cannot design an EVP. You cannot look at an EVP and throw away the strategy of the organization. That is very, very impossible. As a matter of fact, you are as good as not doing or preparing anything. EVP should be closely aligned with the organization's overall mission, vision, and strategic goals. It should reflect the culture, the values, and the objectives of the organization. This alignment ensures that the EVP supports the organization's long-term successes and creates a cohesive employee experience. So when you are designing it, the company, the management, the CEO, or the chairman of the organization will identify that, okay, what you have prepared is in alignment with what he or she wants. The CEO, the MD, or the chairman has a strategic objective for 5 years, strategic plan for 5 years. And this 5 years plan has strategic input for each of the years. You need to align your EVP to it. And this is what they want to see. Your CEO wants to see that what you have prepared is aligning to what he or she has prepared for 5 years, or for 10 years, or for 15 years. And so that is why it says that it must align to the long-term plan. Not while you are considering the immediate, there must be a long-term plan. It must align with it. So let's say, for instance, say you want to be the leading okay, let me pick an organization. You want to be the African Global Bank. We have an organization which vision is to be the African Global Bank. So how do you become the African Global Bank? Is it by having the best of customer service team? Yes. If you have the best of customer service team, individuals, organizations will want to come build relationship with you. So how do you have the best of customer service team? By having the right set of customer service executives and specialists working with you. How do you attract them? You need to attract them with a very good EVP, employee value proposition. When you have the best of EVP, you have these people, these individuals attracted to come and work with you. And when they are there, how do you keep them? You need to keep them with a very good strategy. Now, the CEO, the group managing director of this particular bank that wants to be the African Global Bank, when he sees that the EVP that you have prepared is in alignment in becoming the bank, becoming the African Global Bank, he will approve it. He will approve it to work with. He will approve it to be implemented within the organization, and everybody will want to see it. It is important that we know that no CEO, no managing director, or no chairman of an organization will want to see you bring something that is not in alignment with what they have designed over time. And so this also talks strictly and penetrates into the culture of the organization. There must be a sharp penetration of the culture, value, and objective of the organization. If it is not in alignment with it, nobody wants to listen, nobody wants to hear you. And there must be regular evaluation and assessment. When you prepare an EVP, that EVP needs to be assessed. You need to preferably get somebody to serve as a champion. There must be a champion to carry out that assessment. And if you want to be the one to champion it, fine. EVP should be regularly evaluated and assessed to ensure its effectiveness and relevance. You need to be sure that what you have designed is being followed, if the alignment is rich and people are following up with it. This includes gathering feedback from employees. You need to also consider monitoring industry trends. If you say that you want to pay your engineers 200,000, automobile engineers 200,000, is that what other automobile engineers are receiving? You need to be sure of that. You need to also analyze market data. You need to understand what is the market data for my organization. Let's say you're in the manufacturing, fast moving consumer goods, that is FMCG. How many organizations are in your category, whether you're large, medium, small, or micro? You identify these organizations. What are these organizations paying? You've identified them, and you are fortunate to implement them in your organization. You need to regularly monitor if you have not dropped. It is important. And you need to also conduct benchmarking exercise. So this, your benchmarking exercise, is what you need to be followed. You need to do a constant follow-up in it. And so I spoke to a senior colleague when that saw the notification on LinkedIn. I was like, Matthew, how do you? I said, it is very possible if you are deliberate about it. And like I said in my introduction, it is we as HR professionals, we are in the best position to do this. By continuously assessing the EVP, organizations can identify areas for improvement and make adjustments as needed. So if you are able to create a benchmark and you do a continuous follow-up, you do continuous checking, you do continuous assessment, you do continuous evaluation, you do continuous receiving of feedback from employees, you open your ears to grapevine, you meet with senior professionals and senior practitioners in the industries. You always have reasons to carry out a review of your EVP, or you have reasons to do what? To enrich it. Another thing is to customization and personalization. You need to recognize that different employees have varying needs and expectations, as well as organizations should strive to offer a customized and personalized EVP. This can involve tailoring benefits, career development, opportunities, and work arrangements to individuals' employee preference whenever it is possible. In my organization, we have a young man who has been working full remote for the past 3 months. Full remote full remote, and he's one of our research team member. And this young man is meeting up with his deliverables regularly. Deliverables for the week, deliverables for the month, deliverables for the quarter, for the past 3 months. So the question is, what difference does it make? Is there any difference? No. I'm talking on the side of the employer now. If he comes to work, he will meet at the deliverables, right? He's at home, he's meeting up the deliverables. Why do you want him to come to the office? So it was the people and culture team was able to customize it to his potential need. And today, this young man is meeting up the need. He was evaluated for the quarter, and we realized that he's doing it. So there is no need of having him coming to the office. Leadership, support, and accountability. If you are currently leading a team as a team leader, or as a manager, or as management staff, or as member of the board, or a board chair committee for anything, you have responsibility to look at people that are behind you. There are people that are watching what you do. They are listening to the words that comes out of your mouth. And if they are not in conformity, if they are not in consonant with the organization's corporate objective or organizational strategy, what it means that you would end up becoming a bad egg yourself, and you'll probably be losing the best of talent. Managing EVP requires leadership, commitment, and accountability. If you cannot lead a team and you identify to lead a team, you can speak for you to be helped or given assistance. Leaders should champion the EVP, ensure its integration into organizational practices, and hold themselves accountable for delivering on the promises made in the value proposition. If you are given a position to lead, you have a whole lot of job to do. People would prepare themselves to want to hear you speak. People would position themselves to want to see of what value what would they gain if they follow you. My team leader today, whenever I see my team leader doing what I think is not right, that is obvious, I put the call through to him. And I say, boss, I think that we can do this in this way. Or I feel that what you said here is really not, like not really okay. I'll put it in a way, I'll put it to him respectfully. Now, what I have done is I've supported him. I won't say that publicly. I'll go to him directly because he also has that listening ear and he loves feedback. So when I say this to him, he comes back the next day with another strategy. And I'm happy. So we all hold him accountable. The management hold him accountable for whatever he does. So if there is a deviation, it's going to affect the entire department. And if it affects the entire department, it's just going to affect me. So we all have responsibility. While we expect leadership support, you also need to also support the leadership as well. Thank you so much. And trust I've been able to cover up. So let's open this room for questions and possibly contributions from experience you have also gotten. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matthew, for this wonderful presentation. It was well educative for me, and I enjoyed every bit of it. In fact, I love the part where you said that more of employees branding, employers branding are the employees. And many times we do not know that truly many times we do not understand, many employers do not understand that particular statement you made. I really love that part, and I picked it up, I would like to share an experience, but before I do, I would like you, people who have questions, to please signify by raising up their hands. If you have questions or you have thought out questions and you have typed them, okay, I'm checking the chat box now, no questions. Please, you can send your questions via chat. This is a very rich presentation, or you are prepared to make comments or ask questions, please raise up your hand so that you will be called. So as you make up your mind on what you want to say, let me quickly share this experience. So there was a time I was to recruit for a particular company that I've worked for, and the candidate that was preferred was so excited to join the business. Candidate was so excited. I can feel the excitement. Each time the candidate will call, sometimes I follow up. Are you available? Are you still ready? And everything. I was like, no, I'm ready. I'm ready. And it was a critical role, and it was a role that was hard to fill. At the end of the day, I got a candidate. You know how excited I was as well. And funny enough, just a week, in fact, the laptop, everything for the candidate is ready. Just a week to the time the candidate is to resume, he sent a mail. I don't know what happened. I didn't get the mail. But just 2 days before, I was like, hope you have got your medicals. We sent you an email, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, but I sent you an email that I'm no longer interested. I was like, that was like a big slap. I said, please, I didn't get your email. If you are joking, please just stop the joke. He was like, no, I will refer this. Like, this is serious. And he actually referred it. I was like, I didn't get the mail, fine, but the shock for me. So what was your reason? He was like, okay, you're an HR person, I'll tell you the truth. I was like, please tell me the truth. He said, I made some findings. I was like, but why didn't you make findings before now? He said, no. But he was expected to join the business. But when he makes findings, he hasn't gotten responses to say, that business is good or is not good. And I'm very sure that he has a campus, like we have HR groups, mentorship groups, like HR mentorship, and other HR groups where we can throw questions to say, do you know this company? Who knows this company? Somebody must have now hinted, or 2 or 3 people must have hinted him about the company. So that so they said the company is not good to work, and your company is inside the department, the people there are the problem, blah blah blah. So somebody like washed down. I'm very sure to be a staff. I don't even know. I didn't know what to say at that point. I was like, but actually, what he said was not far-fetched from what is going on in the department. It wasn't a lie, total lie. There was an element of those things that person said. But as a result of that tag or that stigma on us, the candidate did not join anymore. So really, this employee value proposition topic is really key and important for HR professionals. It's very key. And I'll say thank you again. So if you have your thoughts to share, please raise up your hand, or we bring the session to a close right now. Anyone wants to say something? I'm not seeing any hands up now. Anyone? Okay, so thank you very much again, Matthew, for this wonderful presentation.
I think there's a question in the chat box.
Oh, okay. Please, you can take it, please.
Okay, so Ngozi have asked that, please, is it that as a HR manager, for every job, the HR must strictly have a way to work around the CEO's strategies and vision? Okay, so every organization has a vision and strategic plan. Now, so let me use strategic plan because it's work, so that's strategic plan. You have a responsibility as the HR now department. So let me not personify it. Department, to see how everything you do in that department is in alignment with the strategy of the organization. So this will somehow take me to objective and key results area. So you have a responsibility to be able to divide the achievement of this strategic plan into respective departments, naming its objective and key results. So every department has its own contribution towards achieving that strategic plan. So yes, you must be able to not walk around it. You must be able to support the CEO in achieving his or her strategies and vision. Now, guess what? There is no vision or strategy that is not achievable. They are all achievable. They are realistic. But you have the responsibility to see how you can support that achievement. Yes, to you, Ngozi. Then Abigail Komalafe, when it comes to learning on the job, that is learning from others, how does remote and hybrid work helps? Okay, I'll tell you. Now, I'm sure that communication cannot be overemphasized. You cannot overemphasize communication when it comes to play. So if you are in the position of learning on the job, you have somebody that you're learning from or a team you're learning from. Yeah, all you need to do is your constant communications with them. If you're in the HR department and you're understanding compensation and benefits plan on how to prepare it and everything. When it gets to that time, if you're working hybrid, your head of department can bring a plan or a process where at the point of preparing this, you are put into the picture. When I was in my previous organization, when I knew it was time for me to leave, the lady that was following me directly, the HR officer following me directly, I started copying her in all my mails. There are some mails that probably she doesn't, the receiver the receiver would not be happy seeing that I've copied her. I will blind copy her. When I'm preparing payroll, I carry her along. I show her the processes of paying payrolls. When it comes to remittance or strategic deductions and everything, I show her every of these processes. I did this 3 months before I tendered my resignation. So it is possible that these processes can happen whether you are working remote or you're working hybrid. Another question for you, see, I trust I pronounced it very well. Say there is a particular position in my organization that market survey shows that the goal post is constantly moving. The package for that position keep increasing. How does one manage expectations? Now, I'll take, for instance, in our space, in our world today, those people, our friends in the tech industry are the oil now. And you will see some of them, they will tell you, I don't want to take a full-time job. They tell you, I'm not taking full-time. I work remote, full remote, and I'll attend to you twice in a week. Is that okay by you? You will accept because that's what you want. And guess what? As they are in that position, what they would demand from you, you'll be shocked to say, why are you demanding this that is so high? You have to manage these people by personalizing and customizing their preferences. So that was what I said in one of my slides. You need to customize their preference. You need to customize their preference. What suits them? Have a sit with them. It's your job as HR. Sit with them. Matthew, what can I do, or what can we do as a department to make you enjoy this job, to make you stay in this job? Matthew would itemize everything. Now you pick them one after the other and see what you want you can achieve, and the ones you can do and the ones you cannot do. Then when you're able to identify the ones that you can do, you communicate it to him or her. Because whether you like it or not, even the HRO that we all are doing, it's now also moving to a place where it's not moving to a position where we are highly sought out. Within in the past few weeks, some CEOs and even senior group HR heads have been coming to my DM. Matthew, would you want to give us a try? Would you love to come to our organization? There was a CEO that came to meet me and said, yeah, but our HR manager has tendered resignation and I'm not putting up adverts. I want you to come on board. So there are so many positions that are moving in this category now, you see, but you also need to design. You can reach out to me at any time. I would, if I'm available, I'll give you the help. You can design a good EVP for your organization and share it to your board. They will look at it, aligning it to the objective, and you will see that your team and everybody wants it. And even for positions that you say that they are moving constantly to the goal post. I trust I've been able to attend to all the questions. Yes. So you see, Abigail and Ngozi, trust I've been able to attend to you. Yeah, thank you, Ngozi.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Matthew. So we'll bring the session to a close now. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you so much for having me. I'll see you all again in